Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Diane, and I am honored to be here as a speaker. I have been involved in hosting an AIPH Expo in Korea since, like she said, 2016, and then especially active since the 2020 sentence approval. And it's been such a privilege to continue to work with you. Last year during the Congress in Suncheon, I had an interesting conversation with some of our members and discussing the necessity of showcasing more green city related initiatives and then practices from the Asia. So thankfully, this conversation led me into this session, and then oh, into this session that we have today. And again, I'm honored to be here. So today I will talk about how countries in Asia is dealt with the urban heat island effect in their cities. Before we delve into the any specific examples, I would like to underscore the significance of focusing on Asia in our discourse. So the Asia is the largest and the most diverse continent, so I can dare to say that I represent the entire Asia. So, and it is the continent with the significant, the growing urban populations, and according to this graph and provided from the UN DESA, it will only going to grow. And we hear this, the things about the urbanizations and mega cities. This is where all it's happening. So before, due to the its complexity, I cannot dare to say that I cover the entire Asia region, but instead, I ask for some helps from our dear members in the region to gather some best examples from their cities. And we have a robust 12 members from the region 6, 7, 8. And I must extend my apologies for not including examples from the Qatar, Turkey, and Pakistan in today's presentation. But it was I was happy to see some of those examples from the and interventions in this region. So for today, I will only discuss the rest of the area. Back to the issues in the Asia. It is the world's most disaster-prone region. The map shows the percentile of the extreme heat hazard that happens in the Asia Pacific region. But I must say that extreme heat condition events happens not just in the Asia, but it's been a global issue for a while. So unfortunately, it's not unique to any one region, but it's a global challenge. So furthermore, and this map shows the average urban heat island intensity in the East Asian cities. But again, this happens everywhere in the world. It's not just happening in the Asia. It's the global phenomenon. While Asia have the biggest urban population, but because the urban heat island effect is happening everywhere in the world, we all are collectively engaged in a variety of initiatives and legislative actions and implementations to fight against this phenomenon. But I think the main reason, like why it is noteworthy to discuss, and this is due to the structural differences and approaches. This research delineates the contrast between the European and Chinese approach to the environmental policy making regarding the green finance in specific. While we must cautious not to overgeneralize about this concept, but there's noticeable commonalities in how policy is crafted in China and the surrounding regions at the high level. So this research shows the difference between the East and then the West in a very rough way. So take this as the study as an example. Both parties and both regions would have the same approaches to the policy, inviting broad range of the experts, and then that also involves multiple committee members and the stakeholders. However, the difference becomes apparent in policy execution and in public engagement. The main difference here is that the European societies typically favor a market-driven routes, engaging various sectors and often led by the industry. But this takes the time to develop. In contrast, in parts in Asia, there's a tendency to adopt the government-led initiatives models, and this means the policies are often shaped by the selected groups of officials and leading to the state-centered initiatives that tend to be more immediate and shift. Understanding these distinctions and then how each country tackles them can offer us new insights. Now back to our main question: how do we address the urban heat islands? Through those, the strategies may, though those strategies may differ by the region, the underlying principles are similar in a way. I think this nature-based solutions we discussed many times since the morning is the key focus on discussion in the recent years, and then water and then flood management are especially critical in Asia. But the one thing I must mention is that the some years so we can get away from extreme like water events like the floodings, but the urban heat island effects happens everywhere, every year, and in a certain degree it became a part of our life, and it really affects on the quality of life on a daily basis, and then it even affects on our quality of life and then productivity, and then even affects on the city's GDP and economic situation, which is often underestimated. So now we see more like project like this. This is the Bishan Ang Mo Kio Park redevelopment project in Singapore, which is the great example with remarkable use of nature-based solutions and controlling flood and erosion controls, but also contribute to the heat reduction through the increased greenery throughout the city and lessen the heat reflections in the city. So then what else? Like what else can we use to reduce the urban heat island effects? The US EPA advised the 5 different strategies, and I just regrouped them into the 3 different categories. The first is the urban greening. Second is the innovative materials, like using the cool coating paints to increase the solar reflection. And then also the last is the green infrastructures and strategic planning. And there are tons of great solutions, like we already discussed it in the morning, and then the many cities have adopted these methods to cool our cities. But then what else can we do? I think lastly, I'd like to point out that the AIPH exposition is another avenue for combating the urban heat island effects. AIPH have been approved and supported over the 50 horticultural events since 1960. And then I think the AIPH Expo create the green spaces, and it really is a hub for the many environmental initiatives, especially in the recent years. And it brings the green energy and then green minds to the citizens, which is very important, I think. And you may consider like hosting the Expo in your city for the cooler and greener environment, I think. And then and then these are just the upcoming expos that we'll have going forward. Keep this in mind. I will now introduce more specific details and how the cities in the Asia implemented to deal with the urban heat island effects. And first is Japan. The government has launched the Super City Initiative, then passed the bills in the couple years ago, in the year of 2020. The progressive legislation enabled the core departments and agencies to collaborate closely, promoting the advancements in technologies and stimulating the economic growth and enhancing the environmental sustainability. And this initiative is the part of the other growing trends that you see more in the Asian cities and the countries to develop the eco and the smart city. So these cities are designed to reduce the carbon footprint and environmental burdens as a vision for the government with the government investments. But what we want to see is how this evolves and then create a green fabric on the ground. And this Yumekita project is a part of the Osaka's Super City Initiative and integrating regional data exchange and data exchange network for enhanced healthcare and service and mobility, which also aligned with the Osaka Expo 2025, but provides the green to everyone. So the concept of a super city goes in hands in hands, creating the greener urban environment. So another example is in the realm of the community developments and policies from the transportation, the municipality of the transportation or the tourism and land infrastructure. They aim to create the greener society by hosting 2027 Expo in Yokohama, and it will contribute towards the building a sustainable society and then make this greater use for the everyone to enjoy this green space. Amongst the all other projects, so I decided to include some of those recent projects from the different cities. Amongst the all other projects in Japan, I was particularly excited about this project. You may have already heard about this. It's Azabudai Hills in Tokyo, which just opened the last year. Azabudai Hills is not just the new development, it's a milestone in sustainable design, having earned not just the building and recognition, LEED building recognition, but also the LEED neighborhood development recognition. This means it really excels in the energy sources and locations and connectivity and more. With over 320 species of plants, it brings the green spaces in the urban environment and then fostering community like well-being. So this project maximizes the green spaces at the ground level, but in the concept of a vertical garden that also plays the significant role in the like reducing heat reductions in the urban city. The movements towards the movement towards the decarbonizations and an urban greening driven by the national policy is evident and impressive. A project like this is a testament to how the government is committed and then the general public is showing as a great example. Again, the synergy of the technology and an environmental consciousness is the overarching trends, of which you will see more examples of this going forward. So now so Thailand. Thailand embraced the smart city vision, focusing heavily on creating a digital and an eco-friendly urban landscape. The goal is to minimize the negative impacts through the systematic use of technology through the water resource management and climate monitoring and wastewater management, etc. So there's another collaborative efforts by the C40, the Cities Climate Leadership Group, and the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration. The project seeks out the underutilized spaces, such as vacant lots and the area beneath the expressway and gaps between the buildings and footpath and just like the small the canal edges, and then these small and abandoned spaces turned into the green with the efforts and then collaboration of the C40 and the BMA. This Wat Hua Lampong Kwanike Phuket Park is one of the intervention, and I think this is just a brilliant example of utilizing underutilized space, showing how they are implementing their plan on the ground. And similar to the Vision Mokio Park that I already explained from the Singapore, then the Kitty Forest Park in Bangkok is another significant project managing floods and then droughts. This park was there since 1992, but the recent expansion done by the renowned landscape architect Kong Jan-yu from the Turnscape created the green spaces that not only serve as a recreational area, but also as a natural solutions to the urban heat island effects. Another noteworthy project is the Pui Sanctuary Hall at the Thammasat University in Thailand. The project was created to celebrate the 100-year anniversary of a renowned scholar who dedicated to the environmental ecology, so creating a harmonious blends of nature and built structures reflects his commitments to the environmental sustainability. So this roof is designed to insulate the building from the heat, while the breezes skims over the water body to cool down the city. Next, off to the China. The Beijing was committed to earn the title of a national forest city, and they did earn the title by increasing the forest coverage rate of 38% in the 1220, but then now they have the coverage of the forest by 45% in 2023. The city planned to add 10,000 acres of afforestation, creating a garden city where the green cities and the flower cities are integrated. So, and this project is also the part of the effort from the Beijing, located at the sub-center of Beijing, called the Tongzhou. It's called the Central Green Forest Park, from a contaminated industrial estate, which is a 5.5 square kilometer piece land that will be converted into the forest in the heart of Beijing, China. And the city of Chengdu has been investing in the green infrastructure for over a decade now, and focusing on the wetland park that serves as a natural filters for the pollutants and inhabitants for the urban wildlife. The President Xi introduced the Park City concept in 2018 to emphasize the ecologically conscious planning. And Chengdu is one of the most important cities in the west part of the China, with the populations over 20 million. So this Gushi ecological park, located just south, this park located just south of Chengdu, often referred as the Chengdu's Central Park, retains the rainwater during the rainy seasons and provide the greenery to reduce the urban heat island effects for the citizens in Chengdu. And of course, again, I must mention this amazing project. It's also the part of the nation's aspirations on going green at the national level. The Jieqi from the CFA kindly sent me the most recent photos of the project. And I am sure if you were here yesterday during the Expo Congress, I'm sure everyone must be excited about everyone shared their excitements over this expo, which will be open in just 50 days. With the expo theme, the Park City, a beautiful habitat, the city and the country is committed to offer the high quality of life while creating sustainable development environments. Next up is the Indonesia. Indonesia is facing a unique challenge. I'm sure a lot of you are aware of, but its current capital, Jakarta, is currently sinking. So in response to these urgent issues, in 2019, Indonesia's president announced the relocation of the capital to the new city named Nusantara, and envisioned as a they completely reimagined this urban modern city, and then it's set to be the green and walkable metropolis. And its design emphasized the environmental sustainability, and with the aim of going 100% carbon neutral. So also, the city also include the city nurseries, and then which will also contribute to the food security. In the essence, the Nusantara is not just a new capital; it's a statement of to the Indonesia's commitments to sustainability, innovations, and resilience in the face of the environmental challenges. And another project that's going on in Indonesia is the National Slum Upgrading Project, and that's happening in the 153 cities in Indonesia. I'll have to speed up a little bit. And in Taiwan, Taiwan has been also proactive in embracing sustainable urban developments, and then these are some of those the documents that's readily available sources that everyone have access to this, and I think that's really important. And then another reason why I put this in is because they have the many interventions introduced on the website, so everyone can engage with these projects that is done by the government. And then I think these public engagements and then showing this like real photos and how they implemented are really important. This Way of the Flower project in Taiwan, Taichung, is the legacy of a 2018 AIPH Expo. I'll just run through a little faster. And then, that's just another photo from the Taichung. And because I really wanted to explain this, because I was excited to share this example with you. It was shared by the IB from the TFDA. The city of Taipei hosted AIPH Expo in 2010. Taipei Flora Expo. And then what happened is that the preparation of Expo usually goes like years before. And as a part of it, like the Taipei city launched the Taipei Beautiful program in 2009. And the program's like philosophy is that the new construction projects are steward of the city's visual appeals. So each site is expected to contribute to the beautification process. And this is how the program turned out and the construction site, because there were many techniques developed regarding the green walls during the preparation of the Expo 2010. There were many companies working on the green walls, and then they decided to embed this idea to the construction fence. And I think that this is how it looks like on the construction site, and it's a mandate as a regulation from the city. And I thought this is just really an idea with the small regulation, how like small regulation to change the entire fabric of the city. So this, yeah. And lastly, Korea. So the Green New Deal is the government initiative, just like any other cities. And luckily, this involved with the landscape promotion basic plan, and that's also contributed to having more gardens throughout the cities, and that also include hosting a garden expo in South Korea. And zooming into the metropolitan level, like Seoul sets its goal of transforming into a city of a forest and gardens. Again, like the forest city and then garden cities are the recent trends that you see a lot in the cities in the Asia. So like it doesn't because it covers the forest to the gardens. It includes from the small interventions like these photos to the larger implementation like the forest park. And lastly, what's particularly interesting is the localized approach in the urban planning in South Korea. Already half of the population reside in the apartment, like 52% in specific, and landscape planning is tailored to this living style. Having a premium and like well-designed apartment landscape is now one of the critical selling point in the real estate market. And then this example, the Win-Way planning for the apartment complex is a very regional specific way to reduce the urban heat island. This research, what this research did was they used the modeling tools to find the optimized the building layouts for the wind flow to diminish any like urban heat island effects and then enhance the thermal comfort for the inhabitants. Yep. So in conclusion, I think it's widely acknowledged that like adding more greens on the cities will cool down our like urban environments, but yet we are often constructed by the built environments, which limits our introduction of the plants in the city fabric. We must creatively like retrofit the greener and then smarter solutions into the existing urban fabric. And when it comes to the new city developments, we have the perfect chance to integrate and then sustainable practices from the beginning. So given that the complex socio-political layers in the Asian cities with the different structures and then different structures and then public sustainability sentiment is still catching up. Forging international partnership and cooperation is crucial. I believe the AIPH Expo has the potential to be a catalyst in this regards and in advocating the power of the plants and the environmental considerations with the, not just the urban planning, but on a global stage for the global greener future. And that's everything. Thank you. I hope you had some interesting perspective, and thank you for your attention.